for 45 minutes. And it was the most awkward thing I have ever experienced in my entire life. Oddly enough, we actually moved to this exact room for the next hour, which was an empty room last year, and we're able to hold the panel here. But so thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it, and I think we're about ready. Fantastic. I talked my way through it. All right. I'm going to remain seated for this. I would normally stand, but I have been walking around in heels all day, and I frankly cannot stand up right now. So, yeah. Now, with that said, again, welcome everyone to Vocaloid 101. I am your co-host and the leader of our little troupe here. To my right, I have my lovely pal. Go ahead.
Yeah, I go by Sammy Slaughter. I'm a extremely is it on? Hello, my bad. Yeah, so I was just saying I'm Sammy Slaughter. I'm a huge Vocaloid enthusiast. Ever since I was like 8 or 9. So.
Mm-hmm. So, to my left here is my lovely pal. He is going to go ahead and just be our tech guy, so he won't really be talking a lot of the time. He might grab a mic from me and talk shit. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and swap tabs. So, I do see a lot of fellow Vocaloid cosplayers out there, so we do have a decent amount of people who are familiar, which is a great way to see this. But to anyone who's not entirely sure what the hell they got dragged in here for, welcome to the Vocaloid panel. This is the first of 2 this evening, which will be back to back. For anyone who is more in the trenches with this, Vocaloid 201 is going to be your jam, but this will be an introduction, going over how Vocaloid kind of rose to the popularity that it is now, and we'll discuss the companies behind the software, how all of the some general information in this panel, and then in the second panel, which will be right here in this room, we'll have a breathe and break, and then another hour worth of content. So, with that said, for anyone who's unaware...
Yeah, sorry.
You're good. For anyone who's unaware, Vocaloid is a virtual singer software created by Yamaha and Krypton. This is a vocal synthesizer, so it is a music tool. This can be used by producers and anyone who can afford the software or not afford it, and to create music of their own with a lovely singing voice, such as Hatsune Miku, or any of the other Vocaloids that are out there. Okay, so with that said, go ahead and click that link for me. So this is just a brief demo.
Sorry, 1 sec, the audio's gone.
Okay, so this is how within the software you would be creating a Vocaloid song. There's a lot of different settings, but essentially you're drawing notes on a board and telling them the Vocaloid how much tone they should have, how they should be singing. These are voice banks that have been recorded by a number of people who are hired by Yamaha, Krypton, etc., to create a voice bank that can then be repurposed for anyone that has the software. So the star of the show and kind of the forerunner in all of this is Hatsune Miku. Woo! Yeah. So Hasane Miku is the most iconic Vocaloid, and kind of, like I said, the front runner of everything. This being that she's kind of the mascot for all of it. She is the most popular. Now, that's not to say that any other Vocaloids, little known or not, are any less awesome, because they are. But with that said, um, they are. Miku is gonna be your. I hate you. I just see him typing, and I look over and I see what he's looking up on YouTube, and I'm just like, why must you do this to me? Hey Garfield, get in here. Okay, so just please, for the love of God, get my pick on the.
Sorry. I'm
Tech help, everyone. Miku has been featured in a ton of marketing, whether that's commercials for Toyota to everything, including racing. There's an entire racing team in Japan that is dedicated Miku as their idol, and every year we get a new design for how that racing Miku will look. I'm pretty sure I've seen at least one walking around for a couple of the different racing Miku designs. So really fun stuff. Go ahead and click on concerts.
Oh.
As you can see, we're very professional here.
trying, man. I'm trying.
So Vocaloid hosts concerts in person in which we have holograms of Miku and friends. I agree, everyone who's head talking. I completely agree. And these have incredible amounts of people come out to them. I'm still upset, and I guarantee you at least like a lot of you in here are, that Miku Expo 2020 did not get to happen because I was supposed to be in Chicago to see this in person. It didn't happen. But we're here now. Yes. So, as much as I would love to listen to the rest of that song, we'll get through it. So, with that said, yeah, I think that. So, there's also been virtual concerts in the midst of COVID, and these are more AR based as opposed to holograms. If you were able to watch or watch live the Miku Expo 2021 experience, it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend going on YouTube and giving it a full watch through. But this included a song contest, which you're hearing now, with just a fan who created their own song and ended up collaborating with another artist to have a complete fan design made and performed. And so we get a lot of stuff like this with these concerts, and it's really amazing how much this technology has improved. You see now artists outside of Miku and just the Vocaloid space using this sort of technology to have a holographic concert. I know that there's been some like deceased artists that have used similar technology to be brought back to the stage, and it's kind of crazy to think that this anime woman that just is a computer who sings is what has allowed like people who would never catch themselves dead watching an anime, like, to relive their favorite artists in their prime. So I have to say that I think like our little niche has done a little bit of good for the world outside of itself. Now from here, go ahead. Now, with that said, Miku is not the only Vocaloid, and I will let Darla here, or you want Mike? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are a lot of different Vocaloids, not just by from Yamaha or Krypton, but from other companies as well. Here we have pictured Megurine Luca. She is a Krypton Vocaloid, and on the right is depicted Gumi. She is I believe, an internet company Vocaloid as well. My personal favorite is Kaito. Yeah, he is also a Krypton Vocaloid as well. Um, and then there are a lot of different obscure Vocaloids as well. I think there are some that can sing in Korean, some that can sing in Spanish as well. They tend to be, oh, and there are a lot of Chinese Vocaloids as well. They tend to be a little bit underrated in my opinion, and I think they have a lot of potential, but just because they're not as, like Kat said, just because they're not as popular as Miku doesn't mean they're not as good. So.
So pictured here, we do have some of the designs for the racing. Now this is through Good Smile, which if you are a figure collector, you may have heard of. They are a big company in Japan, and they also have a racing team, and that is the team that is sponsored by Miku. And so not only do they have their cars decked out, they also have their race queens decked out in Miku when they perform these races. So really cool stuff to see it kind of jump out of the screen, you know, and be in this world that like you wouldn't think would collide, you know, not necessarily, especially from like an American standpoint. Like who in their right mind would think like even like seeing like an American cartoon on a NASCAR vehicle would be really odd. Like I think the closest we've gotten is like the M&M car. I'll be honest, I haven't watched NASCAR since I was like 6, so correct me if I'm wrong if anyone's a diehard NASCAR fan. But
back in 2002.
Oh what?
So Hendrick Motorsports did a whole bunch of Looney Tunes cars back in 2002.
Dope. Well, still,
Love
like,
that anime.
yeah, that's my favorite anime.
We need a King of the Hill NASCAR.
Honestly, yeah. But yeah, like to see this stuff, as I'm sure you all are very aware, the stuff that happens in Japan is kind of nutty, and especially with these sort of brand deals that branch out of the target audience for a lot of these things. Go ahead and continue. So we also have Snow Miku. So the city of Sapporo does do their winter festival every year, and they've started, I believe it's been going for about 10 years now, to where they do the Snow Miku every year. So that includes a design contest, which is hosted yearly now. That design is then used for merchandise across both within the festival, but also outside and sold here in the West as well. So each one of those designs does get a ton of attention. They're one of the most popular ones outside of like the Sakura Miku when you get past like the base designs. With that said, as you can see here, they also do a lot of snow sculptures during the time that this festival is happening. And so you see sculptures in the town at this time. You see their buses completely lined with graphic wraps that have the new Miku design on it. And it's an entire just festival that's been now centered around this fictional character that, you know, back like 10, 15 years ago, like no one would have ever thought it could get that far, and yet here we are. And we have a room full of people in little old Nebraska who are just as enthralled with this as these people who are putting on these massive festivals in Japan. It's crazy how far it's gotten and how much it has spawned across globally. I remember like the first time I truly started seeing Vocaloid merch in the States was about 2014 in a Hot Topic. Was roughly when it started happening, and now I've seen it at Target. Like what? And I tell you what, it's one of the craziest things when I go out with a friend who is completely like out of the anime space at all. And I go, oh, there's Miku, and then I have to have like a half-hour long conversation with them explaining what I'm talking about because, well, it's at Target now, so so go on and continue. We touched briefly on the Toyota commercials. Uh, that is a big thing. If we have time towards the end here, which I think we will, um, we will go through some of these commercials because they are wild to say the least. We have had commercials now here in the States around the same time, roughly 2014, to where they started using Niku in ads for stuff not just in Japan but over here. I remember had to have been around that time. I was at another friend's house. I grew up in Michigan. I was there in the middle of nowhere in the most hick, like just backwoods town, and I was at a friend's house and they had cable TV. I did not. I was sitting there and out of the blue I just started hearing Yeban Polka, and I thought I was hallucinating. Like, and the poor girl had no idea why I was freaking out. Go ahead.
Oh, David Letterman.
I'll let you hit up the Letterman talk. Oh yeah, and this is a little more of the Toyota stuff.
You want to go to Letterman?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Miku just. I don't remember when this was. I want to say
2009.
2009. Yes, I was gonna say 2009, and she shows up as a special guest on David Letterman, and I think it's something to behold. I think David just has no idea what's going on in this whole thing, which is why this is extremely entertaining.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just standing there and he's just looking at this hologram, and you can tell from the picture like the holograms weren't nearly as robust then. They worked, but they weren't the
Advances they are nowadays with the advances in technology with the apply to various such as new vocaloids apply to bring back dead artists, bring it back to advancing to
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, it's a lot more transparent, and the technology just wasn't there to make it as lifelike as we have now. And you can just tell this poor old man, like I don't know what intern got this to
Just like
happen.
an actual human, like pop artist,
Yeah,
and like someone 5 minutes before the show explained to him, "Oh no, it's a hologram thing."
yeah. And he's just there, like, why are we doing this? Who signed off on this? I sure as hell didn't. Like, go ahead, continue. So again, I think like I'm pretty sure this between last year and this year, some kind of Google Slides update happened because a lot of these were supposed to be videos and they're not showing up as such. So I do apologize. But we'll just pull them up on YouTube. It's not a big deal. But again, just the concerts. I feel like every Vocaloid fan, especially like as like a tween, if you're really getting into it, like when you find out that these concerts are a thing, it becomes your goal in life. Like the Pavlov, like the hierarchy of needs. Like it is just at the very top. Like there is nothing else. And I wish I could sit in here and tell you all, oh, I've been to 1, I've been to 3, but unfortunately not the case. Maybe 1. But yeah, go on through these. Yes. So
Sorry, I spoiled it.
yeah.
Hey
So-
everyone, it's Scott. Have you heard of what's in YouTube?
So there, for those of you who don't know, there was also a promotion that happened in Japan regarding Domino's Pizza, and there is an absolutely amazing video that we will pull up shortly, in which Scott, the then president of Domino's Pizza, discusses the new pizza promotion. I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
I mean, what is there to say, to be honest? But yeah, I think if I remember right, there was like an app that was associated with it, and basically the pizza boxes had like special patterns on it, and you would take like the AR app and you would point it at the pizza box, and Niku would just be dancing on your pizza. So yeah, that's
Cool.
Very cool.
yeah, it's technology, am I right? Industrial revolution and its consequences.
I think for the sake of everyone's entertainment, we'll go ahead and we'll bring Scott on now.
Yeah.
Yes! Scott!
Hello everyone, I'm Scott, president of Domino's Pizza. Have you heard of Hatsune Miku? It's a new collaborative project featuring Domino's app featuring Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku exists in a software called Vocaloid. Vocaloid enables
We
you
could
to
just play
produce
this video, it explains everything.
Yeah.
Hatsune Miku
This could have been the whole
sings the
film.
songs you create. A great feature is you can create songs as you like. How you, our talented Domino's Pizza crew, could work together and create great Vocaloid Sho Kyoshi, Furi Tsukeshi, everyone. Amazing Vocaloid songs have been created with the fantastic imagination of the crews from all over Japan. The challenge was successful.
Why does this do on the side?
Based on the changes its appearance. A lot of music and illustrations produced by Domino's crew are here. From the menu to the order, it looks very cute. Just like that. Have some fun with me. And last but not least, the live performance. Start the pizza stage live and point the camera towards the pizza box. And the pizza box will turn into a live dancing venue. A live performance of Love for Night, produced by Domino's crew. Here we go.
Very cool.
Give it up for Scott, everyone! All right. Yeah, you know, he kind of did my job for me there, so I really appreciate it, you know? Some fun tidbits with that as well. There's a video on YouTube by, it's way too long for us to watch, but by a certain Nick Robinson that explores whatever happened to this man. And to do that, he just went, you know what, screw it. I'm just getting a ticket to Tokyo, like right now. And so he just goes there, and he almost like breaks into the Domino's Pizza building. He just like snuck onto an elevator and no one said anything. So he just kept going, gets up there and finds out that Scott has retired. Ooh. About a year ago, Scott's son reaches out to Nick and says, "Hey, I'm the guy's dad, like child, bro. You wanna talk to my dad, maybe? Would you like that?" And they're like, okay. So they fly down to Texas and they meet with the man, the myth, the legend, Scott from Domino's Pizza.
I wish I could zoom in on his eyes.
So we go ahead and in the video, we have Scott and Nick interviewing. As it turns out, Scott was not only, you know what, I think I need to look something up. If you'd give me the mouse, I need, oh God.
It's on the wrong side.
You know what, don't worry about it.
What you need?
Look up Scott Domino's Pizza Korean ad. So It turns out Scott was not only the president of Domino's Pizza at one time. He was actually the president in, I believe, South Korea as well at one point. And
It's all just mostly shit posts. I can't find it. It's buried.
yeah, that's fair. So we will scour. We will try and find it. That's definitely not it.
That's not it. That's English.
That's a different Scott. That's not our Scott. So, but essentially, Scott was in. It should be like it's like a karate ad.
What?
Yeah, I know.
New Scott lore.
This is just turning into the Scott panel. Just look up like karate ad. That should get you there.
Pizza, Korean.
Let's hope. I really want to show this because it's so freaking funny.
Why isn't it selected?
So essentially, Scott was like a minor celebrity when he was in Japan. Go back up to Scott.
It's mostly just the video you were talking about.
Okay, well I guess click into it and we'll just scroll through it because you can just.
Yeah, Nick Robinson.
No, it's the.
Found dozens more commercials. Okay.
Yeah. So with that said,
Are they divided?
Okay.
I believe if we just scroll, if you let me scrub through it, I should be able to find the one that I'm thinking of.
We'll get on the main screen in a sec.
Yeah. But here,
Too old to have the chapters.
yeah.
Oh, that was it. Right?
Believe so. We're getting there. Wait,
Stop. The con Wi-Fi can only take so much.
that's true.
Oh, wow. 1998.
That's not a good picture of him.
That's not at all. I hope
Let me.
this is.
Wow. 2019. 2019, right? Now, back in January when I spoke to Scott in person, I actually asked him about his voice still being used to this day in the Taiwan ads.
It's Taiwan. That makes more sense.
Although I still do the voiceovers for Taiwan ads. Oh my gosh, really? So if you hear a Domino's ad in Taiwan, the voice is mine. It's been mine.
If you'll pause it for a moment. Another fun fact about our favorite man ever to exist. He actually, so when he was the president of Domino's Pizza in Japan, I believe, also when he was in Taiwan, he is like a native, like, he lives in America. And he would fly like 5 days a week to Taiwan and back. Yeah, like to be with his family. So this man is not only the most awkward man to ever exist, but he is also a real family man and a man that we can all aspire to be.
One might say a family man.
But yeah,
Want me to stop it, or you don't need it?
no, we'll stop it. If you stick around for 201, I will continue to try and find the amazing content that is Scott from Domino's Pizza on suspended in the air doing karate kicks because it's incredible. Oh my god. So anyways.
Whoa! I found it. Is that him?
That is him, yes. Tell why the awkward eyebrow became.
You're right.
There he is.
That was all. Sorry, that was almost if I saw 007. Like, he's gotta be doing some spot.
It's not quite the one that I'm looking for, but that does give you a little bit more Scott content. So honestly, I'll take it. Now, with that said, let's continue on from our derail by the man himself. So, there's been a lot of games that Miki's been featured in, and anyone here is a Project Sekai fan, you're very aware of this. There's also Project Diva, which is a console-based rhythm game, which is also now on PC, which is fantastic. With that said, it is both of these rhythm games. Go ahead and page over. When I started this panel, Project Sekai, like barely anyone had even heard of it because the EN release wasn't out yet. I did a empty Sekai Miku cosplay last year, and like no one knew who I was.
I got a photo with you.
Really? Oh my god. You were like the one person. Go ahead and continue on. We also have some other games that have been featured with Miku. Those being Groove Coaster, which if you have not played the Switch version of Groove Coaster, it's an absolute wonder. It's so fun. Unfortunately, it's pricey solely due to the fact that like most of the Vocaloid songs are DLCs, but it's an absolute blast and it's worth it, especially if you get it on sale. But we also have Taiko no Tatsuji, which is just, I love the designs they did for this. It's so goofy. It's wonderful. It is a drumming game. It has been an arcade game in Japan as well as a ton of home console releases. And then I think I'll let you handle the last slide.
Oh yeah. Something about this. You need to like at some point see like the behind the scenes for Just Dance because it's very creepy. Like this is not just special effects. I think they use like certain makeup and like actual practical effects to pull off that really weird stylized. It looks very strange. You'll have to actually look it up and see for yourself. But yeah, so Miku and Just Dance. I believe, I don't know how many songs there were. I know even Polka, I don't know how to pronounce it to this day. Yeah, is in it. So yes.
They had Love Colored Board by Monster Project in the game now.
Oh, nice.
That's the one song I experienced 100%.
We love that for you.
Yeah.
Now I do have a special event for us to do today, and I do have a couple prizes to give away. My veterans from last year will remember this, since it's the only part that we got through before we had to move rooms. But we are going to play Kahoot! So, let's relive those of you who were in high school a few years ago, and those of you who weren't, you're going to get a taste of something real special. So what you're going to want to do, so there's a link attached to the Miku Pixels.
Okay. This is the creating. Okay.
I'll have to log in.
Oh, the keyboard works.
That's facts.
Oh, come on.
So yes, if you would like to start loading up Kahoot.it, that is going to be the website that you will want to be on. I'm sure a decent chunk of you know the drill, but if you do not, this can be played straight from your mobile phone. So you'll just want to pop into Kahoot.it, and we'll run this.
Unfortunately, we don't have Miku music, but the Kahoot music does go hard.
Two-factor authentication, my favorite. I'm in.
I'll give you this and I'll get it set up.
So I do have prizes for my top 3 this year. They're here on
Hello?
the.
Oh, they pranked us.
What do you mean?
It's the home panel.
Classic.
A classic mode.
And they've got a spooky background for us. So from Kahoot.it, go ahead and enter in the pin there. I should actually. We're gonna let this play as y'all get in.
Never mind, we do have making music. Oh, classic said 10 players max. 1 sec.
Yikes! Give us a moment.
How do we cancel this?
Just hit back. Okay.
1 sec.
I know.
It is not team mode. We need play with up to 10 players. Why can't I adjust that? Settings. No. What? Wait, show. No, it's gonna cause issues.
I believe Kahoot has done a little silly thing and decided that I have to pay money to have more than 10 people play the game,
Subscription based.
which is the worst thing that has ever happened to me, honestly.
Capitalism and its consequences.
Honestly. You're telling me I can't Kahoot?
What we can do is we can do teams with shared devices, or people can group up, but that very much complicates things. You have to talk to people, which sucks. Okay.
I will pay money to get this to work.
Take.
Maximum players at 11.25 plus tax, and then half of inflation should be 11.55 per month for 50%.
I will literally, if there's a free trial, we'll just do it.
Go back.
I hope to God there's a free trial.
There is a free trial.
How do I pay money?
You gotta put the subscription in first.
Kahoot.com. It'll let you like go to the main settings. I apologize. I did not realize that they've switched their model since the last time I did this.
The future is now.
Yeah, the future is now.
Okay, there is no such thing as Kahoot.com. Oh wait, no.
Log in.
Yes, I'll accept the cookies.
It is A-okay. Right, go to
Upgrade. 50 players per game?
Yep.
Includes 1 month premium games. Fantastic.
I hope to God there's a
Oh, look at the numbers on the back of my card.
Wait. It's gonna do a whole year thing first, but yeah, that's gross.
180 annually for Kahoot. Come on.
So while we're waiting, who's everybody's like favorite Vocaloid? Yeah, Goxpo. That's a good
Free
choice.
trial. We need a free trial.
Flower, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What? Oh yeah, Picasso's the one.
Lily.
Lily, yeah. Yeah, Picasso and Yo-Yo.
It is what it is. I don't know about this.
I said already, but my favorite personally is Piper. And part of that is because his voice provider is an absolute gem. Like, yes. Like if you ever like go to his Twitter, He'll always post like pictures of his cats and his Kaito merch in the same picture. It's very good. He likes to call Kaito his son, and which is very cute, and his cats his daughters. So he'll usually post something like, "Oh, here's my daughters and sons relaxing," or whatever. It's amazing. So if you have a Twitter, that's the only account you need to follow in your life.
I have one account for it up there.
Yes, I love that video so much.
Sorry, I misspelled
He
last name
just
wrong.
spelt it out like, "You are so beautiful to me." Like, yeah,
It's so good.
Yes.
What's your
Oh yeah. I forgot to
See
say
how it
his
happens
name is.
when I match my stuff.
Voice provider's name is Naoto Fuga. That's Naoto Fuuga. So
We'll see what happens.
yeah. There is a whole video on YouTube about Vocaloid provider funny moments. I recommend looking that up because I especially like, I won't say who it is, but yeah, I actually can't say who this is and the Vocaloids they provide. Never mind. Because the reason why is because it's a Kahoot question, so I'm just gonna. Ooh, yeah.
Spoiler. So we're gonna go ahead and get a monthly subscription to Kahoot. The nice thing about this technical error is that we have the show for 2 hours, so I don't have to be worrying about us getting the heck out of here because we have 201. So not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. So long as y'all are cool with staying, I'm cool with getting this figured out. So thank you for bearing with us.
has gone through.
Woo! So let's do it again.
Okay, we have too many damn tabs open.
That's fine.
Okay. All right.
You were awesome.
One more. Come on.
One more time.
Please let me start the Kahoot. For the love of God, let me start the Kahoot.
Classic.
50 players!
Up to 50 players, let's go! I hope you guys are not. 51 of you, that's really sad. I think
Too
we're
late
good.
now.
I feel like there's like.
I've already invested $20.
I almost want to say
9,
30,
10,
but
11,
6
12,
is
13,
more
14,
than
15, 16.
God, why I can only have this much. Oh, right.
Oh yes, please don't do it. Give the people what they want. There we go. She returns.
Supplier. Oh wait, I was supposed to do it. Was set to that before.
Okay.
Let me check it.
There we go.
All right, we have 43 people in here. We are rapidly approaching the limit, and it's been a minute. Is anyone having trouble getting on, or can we go ahead and start?
All right, I think we're good.
No protests. We're under 50 players. Perfect.
It all works out, guys.
Where's the start button?
Somewhere. You're there! Welcome to the hood, Amber. It begins.
What's my mouse doing?
All right. What is Hatsune Miku's character item? Well done. Well done.
Vegetable juice. Who chose? Sorry. Oh, right. We have to hit the next button.
Yeah. All right. We got Meek at the top. Celeste, you are here. I wasn't sure if you were. Hi.
What is Miku's canonical age?
Oh no! Get back in there! Alrighty, yes, she is 16. Ooh, Miku Ryzen. And we got Enna up there too. I see some Proseka people. Alright, who was the first Vocaloid in the second series? Alright, Sweet Anne, the second series. Yes, yes. Not a very well appreciated Vocaloid, but a Vocaloid all there. Welcome, Conma. What language was the first Vocaloid?
I do trick questions because I know the answer. There's 2 ways.
English. Nah, it's a trick question. So, technically, the first vocal synth was made by a company in America. That idea was then sold off to Yamaha and Krypton. Ooh. Oh no! What year was Mary Luca released? I love hearing the pitter patter of everyone's answers. Yes. 09. Ooh, we got big changes on the board now. Continuing on. Who is this? Who it be?
This music never doesn't go hard.
It doesn't.
Oh my gosh. Live my dreams in here.
That is Dinah. Dinah is a Vocaloid from not Krypton, but I'm blanking on the name right now. Thank you very much, 0G. Yes. It's honestly kind of sad because she's my favorite, but you know, I'm tired. All right. Continuing on. Who is the Kagame Twins voice provider? Yes. So it is Asami. You know, I wish it was Markiplier. I think that'd be a really interesting thing to see.
You could make a Markiplier Usaru.
You definitely could, and if you stay around for Vocaloid 2, I don't know what that is going on. What is the most current version of Meek released? All right, that is Miku NT. So fun fact for y'all, Miku and Gang, any of the Kryptonoids are no longer considered Vocaloids as they are now within Kia Pro Studio. So yeah, going on. All right, still got Meek at the top. Yes. You know, that's true. We're waiting for the Miku and V6 though. Yeah, that was a surprise drop if anyone missed that. Vocaloid version 6 just dropped out of nowhere last week. No like press release prior. They just were like, hey, it's out. Okay, what language do see you and Uni sing? Alright, they are singers in Korean. We've got Vocaloids all across the board. I'd honestly be interested in finding out if anyone's interested in the next block. What languages do not have Vocaloids? Because I'm sure there's gotta be a couple, but yeah, moving on. Right. What song is this album cover for?
Oh, why do I know that?
The song has become easier since y'all have English Project Sekai. Last year, no one knew this. This is Boca de la Barita. Absolute banger of a track. Please listen to it. Meek is on fire! Let's go! When's Kaito's birthday? I'm sure the fans out there are squealing over this.
They make like a wood block sound so good.
Right, yes, it is February 17th. Meek's still smashing the competition, my goodness. What module is this? That is very clearly. Yes. Moving on.
No, that's how I do
How old is Kasane Keito?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She is 30. Yes, yes. We have our middle-aged babe up there.
She said she's 15 in Chimera years.
Right. All right. Oh my God, your mom is smashing the competition right now. Let's go. Is Kasari Tero a Vocaloid, true or false?
It's solid. I really hope that comes out really clearly on recording.
Yeah, that is false. She is not, but she is one of the most popular vocalists. Wow, your mom is just topping it tonight. Which Vocaloid sang "Nya Nya 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 Nya" featured in the internet's beloved Neon That was Miku. So, for those of you who weren't aware, that may have honestly been your first introduction to Vocaloid. So, keep that in mind.
Learning that fact broke me 2 years ago.
Yeah. What song was the theme for Miku Expo 2020? You're definitely right. It definitely was Wonderful. Alright, that was Lucky Orb. If you've never seen that music video, it's gorgeous. Please check it out. Oh my gosh, Onari topping the charts. I think we might have some upset here.
Your mom has fallen from grace.
Yeah, your mom's falling from grace. What song is this album cover for?
Ooh, that's a rectangle.
Wow, that's crazy.
They're normally squares. Oh, you had to cut off the bottom one. On it, or? Yeah. Holy shit. Regular text on it.
Alright, that is Daybreak Arrival.
Where'd my cursor go?
Your mom's on fire though. Love to see it.
Love.
Which company produced Nebkon? Alright, that is Internet Code.
Nearing the end.
Getting real close here. Alright, another true or false for you guys. Maybe we can natively sing in Indonesian. Pretty sure I've seen a cosplay of that exact song walking around, guys.
Yeah, they were at the photo shoot.
Yeah, they definitely were at the photo shoot. That is false. She cannot natively sing in Indonesian. But with singing, you can probably make it happen. Oof.
White crap.
What song was the theme song for Miku Expo?
What is Wonderwall?
And you're right, it was Wonderwall again. That was Highlight by Kira, who's a fantastic German producer who makes some of the best sounding English Vocaloid music I've ever heard. But we have Onari in third. Second is your mom. And in first place we have Meek. Let's give it up for them.
Glad I recorded the music for me.
Now with that said, can I get your mom, Meek, and Onai to come up and pick out your prizes? We will be taking just a very brief intermission. This will be for us to set up Vocaloid 201. It'll take just a couple minutes for us to transition to that.
So I think like
It's the first. Yeah, first place, pick one, and then. So we will take a brief intermission to just get this set, and then we will be back briefly. So we'll play some tunes. We'll play some tunes while we do that.
Where do I get the tunes from? Where are tunes at?
Yeah, I really should yesterday.
Your mom.
Hello, also, real quick,
for the people who come in, we are recording this whole thing. If people do not want to be shown on that, they need to let me know so I can blur them out in post. Thank you.
So it is Cats and Hay, and that's gonna be on Twitch and
Alright, but
yeah.
I'll log you in.
Hi. Yes.
I'll log you into your account, Tom.
I don't know if you should
Yeah. Literally at the end, I just like, so
if I'm not fine though,
yeah, it's
That right now?
and also otherwise, the speaker is really loud when you guys are talking.
We can't do anything about that, unfortunately.
Oh, like,
That's
it's
the.
their setup. So we're just kind of
I'm going with IT. I'm not going with the AP. Exactly. I don't know. Oh. Okay, wait. You said it was when they're talking.
no, it's when the music.
The music. Oh, okay, that I can fix.
And then like the mic volume is a little choppy, so. I'm not just.
no. I'm glad that someone's at least talking.
Yeah, no.
Go to
library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
And
done
then
it
you can
before.
Vocaloid. Stop.
Good luck. It is really fun.
Thank you. Glad it's working out better this year. Show more.
There is no show more. See all is for like. Oh, right. There we go.
I'm just gonna hit show.
Oh, it's loading. It's stuck.
Is this power scaling event?
All right.
Power scaling event?
Sorry.
We want the
Oh, yeah, we adjust it here, and I just leave that there. We adjust it here.
To go see power scaling
show this stuff on. People just the video of the whole stuff.
Alright, let's go.
Stuff is
We're gonna be in a.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, we'll just let this play first. But I have a second for you.
You want me to put it up?
Yeah. We're just gonna we'll put some tunes on and let me kind of stress for a second because Lord knows I. It's yes.
And you guys can simply just, you guys don't have to wait to tell me to switch sides. You can punch me in the shoulder for all I care. Like, comedic effect, I am down. As long as you don't like actually choke me out on the table, anything goes. As long as it's funny. If it's not funny, then it's not cool. But anything, just let me know when it switches slides. I'll do my best to keep them. Yeah. I rapidly click through the slides. But if you're already on my side, just punch me in the shoulder when you want to.
That way I can.
Mix water. I didn't. Whose water was it though? You don't know.
I waterfall. That's why I waterfall it.
Fair enough. I just. That was okay. I respect it.
Yeah. I love love your face. You styled it so nice. I'm sure we're gonna both have a ton of fun trying to brush this out tonight. Yeah, it's not hard. Yeah? I need actual podcast, not just some random waterfall sitting here that I just got desperate enough and I decided, like...
They have water fountains now, but they're too far away.
Yeah, they're way too far.
Never in fields, they still have to run. Put your chin spot there. I wish I could uncomfortably zoom in on people's eyes when they're talking.
That's how you edit it.
Have you heard of hot Alright, there we go. Pause it?
Yeah. Alright, with that said, I've had enough time to breathe, so start talking. So, welcome to Vocaloid 201. For those of you that stuck around through our little intermission, thank you very much. But for those of you who did not, hello, my name is Katsuke. I also have over here.
I'm Sammy Slaughter, and I'm just a regular Vocaloid enthusiast. So, and I also make music. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I prefaced this before, but as we were a little excited to get going, but I am a VTuber. I also do Vocaloid covers, and I'm a digital artist, as well as a cosplayer, clearly. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Vocaloid 201 is going to be centered more on a bit of a deep dive into some interesting things that have happened as we delve deeper into the Vocaloid sphere. Now, that said, so we have created an iceberg. Myself and Sammy here went ahead and made this.
1 second.
And it's our own.
Why would...
What?
I can't zoom in any more than that.
That's fine.
Oh, for you, I'm saying.
Oh,
your
I see
notes.
what you're saying.
Yeah, every level in the iceberg, the picture of me gets a little bit more sketchy. So.
Yeah.
Just scales.
Okay. So yes, we went ahead and created this specifically for Nebkon this year.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So pending the technical difficulties we're having on our side, we are going to go ahead and just start with the top level here for some things that you might not have heard of, but you very well could have. So we'll go ahead and
Scroll.
that is it. You've done it. All right. Now, we've got a few different things. Go ahead and if my notes are readable, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. So, with that said, I think we'll just go pop on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Vocaloid Rana, which is not a very well-known Vocaloid, but is a very, very cute design with a lovely voice. She was originally only purchasable via a magazine, which you had to be subscribed to, and you would slowly gain access to the voice bank every weekly or monthly issue that had a little bit of it. And as you collected them all, you eventually would be able to have that software. Very interesting way to release it.
Yeah, and then I think I'm not at a very good angle to see, but I think our next thing is the 3-9 thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically when it comes to Miku, you come across the number 39 or 39 a lot. And the reason for that is because it acts as like a dual pun. There are different ways to read numbers in Japanese. One of the ways to read 3 is mi, and the other way to read 9 is ku. So if you put together, 39 miku. And then another reading of 3-9 is San for 3 and Q for 9. So put that together as thank you or thank you. So fun facts.
So our next bit is the ungodly amount of collaborations that Miku has had with various other bits in pop culture. Recently, there's been a collaboration with My Little Pony of all things. There's also been collabs with Sanrio to create the oh my god, Cinnamoroll Miku, which I'm sure if you are within the Twitter Vocaloid space whatsoever, you've seen about 1,500 fan arts of. Was everywhere in the past couple months. Pusheen has also done Miku collabs. I found that plush that is there on screen. I wasn't actually aware it existed before I started doing the research because I'd seen some of the merch, but I hadn't seen it all. And well, I really want that.
Yeah, and the other part of our iceberg is Utau, and Utau is essentially, it's not Vocaloid, but it's freeware vocal synthesizers. So we mentioned earlier that Kasane Teto is an Utau, one of the most famous. And the interesting thing about Utau is that you can make your own voice banks by basically, recording or grabbing like samples of different syllables that somebody says, or recording syllables that you would sing, and you can combine that into a voice bank. So that's very interesting. Moving on.
So our next bit is going to be the bit here. We've got a few things to cover on this page. Now, the first one that I'll go over with is I'm sure the vast majority of you in here have heard that Roe v. Wade was overturned. I don't want to get into the politics of that, just for the sake of Nebkon's own sake. But with that said, a lot of people weren't too happy about that. And a lot of TikTokers did a thing. So the credit cards from those Supreme Court members kind of got leaked. And a bunch of people went, ooh, we can use them. And a bunch of people went, we're gonna buy Miku figures with the Supreme Court's credit cards. And that went on for like a day until, you couldn't anymore. But yeah, that very much so happened.
Yeah, and then two Vocaloids that I like, but I feel like I haven't heard enough songs from them. Uta Tane Pico and SF82 Miki, who sounds like an airplane name. Anyway, what's interesting about those two Vocaloids is that if you look at them, they kind of have parallel designs a little bit. And in a way, you can consider them like software siblings, even though they're from different companies. Because they were originally supposed to be released by one company, but due to corporate shenanigans, I believe SF8 Mickey got released by AH something, AH what?
H software.
Yeah, it's just AH software. And Pico got released by Kiyum, I believe. So they were siblings separated at birth, basically. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then this one is also really funny. So there was going to be a Vocaloid release called Coco Robo. And the gimmick with Coco Robo is that not only was she an actual voice bank, but she was also a glorified Roomba voiced by a Vocaloid. Unfortunately, Coco Robo never got released, and as far as we know, she's in development hell, or they just gave up on her. But yeah, so we love Coco Robo. I would gladly purchase her to sweep my dorm.
Absolutely. Now, with that said, due to issues with the paneling stuff, I wasn't able to put a parental advisory warning. So I do want to just give a brief warning before we go to the next slide for foul language. So if anyone is uncomfortable with that or is a minor and doesn't want to be around that sort of thing, feel free to step out or
It's not as bad as it
it's not
sounds,
that
but
bad,
it
but I just
it
want to
still
be
warrants a
safe.
warning, yeah.
So, anyways, Utsapi is a producer who is very well known for his unhinged tweets. He creates really heavy Vocaloid songs, which is something you don't really see very much of at all. But the man has tweeted some lovely things, such as penis has no border. You can also see that his username on Twitter is at asshole_we. And he gives a little bit of an explanation here, saying that the ID asshole_we is the name I gave myself when I was 16 years old, which means I'm going to shock you enough to stick the Wii remote in your ass. So as you can see, he's very confident in himself and his abilities.
One of my favorite tweets from Utsu, I believe, is one that he says, "We are all penis men," and this is very close to my heart. It's so true.
Go on. So, our next tab here, we have the lovely story of, I guess to begin, we'll start with the IBM. I'll let you take that.
Yeah. So, the great granddaddy of all Vocaloids can arguably be called the IBM 7094. And this is because in about 1961, we basically had our first vocal synthesizer ever, and it sang the song Daisy Bell. If you want to bring that up, it sounds a little bit creepy, I apologize, but I find it charming.
I love the things that you
Should I fast forward a bit?
Very indie horror game. It did, yes. People were recreating it.
There we go.
It's a slow burn, but I promise it's worth it.
It sounds like an opening song.
And that is it. Give it up for the first ever vocal synth.
YouTube's grandpa, everybody.
Oh yeah. Now our next one is going to be a fantastic story that would honestly be worth its own entire panel. The story of one Miku Slab. Now, for my TikTok people out in the audience, y'all are smiling. I already know y'all know. But if you'll hover over the Miku Slab, there's a link embedded in it, like the picture.
Which one? Oh, the one on the
picture.
left?
Yeah, the one on the left. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of a rundown. Miku Slab is, if you pause it. So, Miku Slab is essentially what happened is a certain TikTok creator who collects a lot of Miku figures found out that they had a fake Nendoroid. An Nendoroid being just a chibi figure that you can get of basically any anime character nowadays. So they had a fake one, and they said, I absolutely hate you. You are the worst thing that I've ever seen. Please die. And this was what happened to that.
Let's put them back together. So I'm going to melt her into a slab. So I have been told that, get out! That if I put this into this and bake her 180 degrees, so she will become a
Serial
slab.
killer shit.
It's in a range. How long is it? 25 minutes, and we'll see what happens. This is the worst thing I could possibly do to her. I need
That needs to go back. It's still wrong. I love burger.
rounded her out so the shit will melt into the gas and create like a big solid thing. I just think
We'll pause it there. You can find the entire adventure that is the Miku Slapification on YouTube. And it's an absolute treat, as y'all can see. So yeah, if you have any fake Nendos at home, you too can have Miku Slab.
You could do it with a real one too, but I don't recommend it.
I mean, yeah, I'll be ashamed, but I guess if you're completely unhinged, you absolutely could. So, with that said, our next little portion of this is in 2013, an opera was made that starred Miku. It was called The End. It's a rather, well, as a lot of Vocaloid media tends to be, oddly enough, it's a very dark journey. Really cool though. We aren't going to watch any of it, but the fun and interesting part of that is that the costumes for that were actually designed by someone who works for Louis Vuitton named Marc Jacobs. Now, I personally am not like a high fashion like connoisseur, but that's still like a really crazy name to have like work with a Miku project. So very interesting that that happened. And then if you'll touch on our beloved.
Our beloved, I can't read his name from here, but he is essentially in 2019, who is essentially a salaryman, married Hatsune Miku. There was, yeah.
Is that better?
Let's see. Yeah, he's Akihiko Kondo, and he essentially married Hatsune Miku, and they took a photo with matching rings and everything. It's kind of amazing. The sad part of the story is that he would like talk to Miku using this little hologram. Um, it's called like a gate box or something.
Yep, it's gate box.
Yeah, and it basically like projects a hologram of characters that you can talk to and interact with. Unfortunately, like as of early this year, that service was discontinued. So as of right now, he cannot talk to his wife. It is very sad.
We'll go to the next tab.
Yeah.
And this is them with their wedding rings. So yeah,
In there, like I said, in their horror.
so yeah, as you can see here, they do share a very loving relationship. If you aren't aware, in Japan it is completely legal to marry a fictional character. I'm still a little confused as to how it works if you are married to a fictional character that someone else is married to. Yeah, honestly, I think it is. Just go in the Coliseum and yeah. But with that said, fun idea for you if you bought any new plushies this weekend. You could go ahead and go get some rings and recreate this photo for yourself. Just do it in their honor, you know? This poor man can't talk to his wife. He's got to at least have us out here supporting him. Okay, we'll move on. So, from here, we have our next level of the iceberg. So, fun fact, initially the development for Vocaloid software was meant to recreate the voice of Elvis, who was, hello? Hello? Uh-oh. Hello? Oh.
Time to get loud.
I will start yelling.
Yeah.
I think that may be it. Okay, it was my foot. Don't worry about it. Anyways. How about now? Yeah. Okay. So, with that said, initially, the development for Vocaloid software was meant to recreate the voice of Elvis after he had passed away. So they were working on this. They wanted to be able to create more Elvis songs. You know, at the time he was like the dude, you know? So unfortunately, that project was kind of scrapped because, well, they just didn't have the proper software to make it work properly. And they didn't have enough, clear recordings of Elvis without like cracked backing music, because so much audio was all just in one track at the time that they really just were having a hard time making it work and sound right, so they just said, screw this, we're done. And then later on, people went, hey, remember that Elvis thing? What if, like, Anime Girls? Our next one is a treat.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with Meritu and their song Mind Brand, pardon my language, but one of the initial line before the song starts is "Welcome to the Mindfuck," and this has a very particular origin. There is a reason why we have Nostalgia Critic Man right here. Is because "Welcome to the Mindfuck" is actually a sped up clip of Nostalgia Critic saying that. Yeah. So Mind Brand might be ruined for you forever. I'm so sorry.
And we'll show you now some things you can. Go ahead and play it again.
Welcome to the Mindfuck. Welcome to the Mindfuck.
That is indeed. Which is weird, like, I just, like, I'm trying to picture this Japanese man trying to make a song and going, you know what this song needs? Nostalgia Critic. So, from here, our next bit of tidbit is that some content was removed in the Korean release for Project Diva. Project Diva being the console rhythm game that is honestly the predecessor to what ended up with the absolute hit sensation Perfect That Guy. diva is still something that has a huge audience, and they wanted to bring it to Korea as well. However, due to cultural things that have happened in the past, there were some songs that had to be cut. Namely, Oedo Julia Night, which is a Michi M song. That was cut due to the music video having some images that they thought would be possibly offensive to the Korean audience, as it was, the people in the video are dressed in sort of a Japanese imperialist garb. And Senban Zakuro, which if you've ever really looked into what that song is even about, kind of makes sense right off the rip, but it is a song about imperialist Japan, and it's about the war. So they cut the song to prevent people from being upset, which is a shame, but it makes sense.
Ah, crap.
Do that next is banned in Korea because of sexual content in their songs.
Ah, yes.
Notably, Holy Lands.
Yeah, so,
We can, you can hold it.
oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little, I'm not firing on all pistons today. Last night I stayed up till like 4 a.m. because my laundry wasn't, anyway. But yeah, so Cantarella is an interesting case. If you have not heard it, it is a song featuring Kaito and Miku. And if you look into the lyrics a bit, it's a bit about a toxic and obsessive romantic relationship. So it is not very ideal. But the interesting thing about Cantarella is that it has historical background to it. It is essentially based on the Borgia family, which was a family prominent in the noble family prominent in the 15th and 16th centuries in Spain. And basically, the term Cantarella comes from the term used by the Borgia family to describe a poison purportedly used in political assassinations. So that's something. And Miku and Kaito basically take on the role of Cesare and Lucrezia Borgia, respectively. They were related, and they also had a romantic relationship. So it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit much, but yeah. So that's the story behind Cantarella.
They're like the incest Joker and Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, and I have a bit about Gakupo. So there is well, it kind of is, but anyway, there is a series of songs in the Vocaloid fandom referred to as the Ibelius Chronicles. It's a huge, extensive story. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that one song featuring Gakupo was called The Madness of Duke of Benemania. And basically, it's about this nobleman who sacrificed his soul to a demon to have the ability to seduce any woman. And the thing is that, yes, in the song, Gakupo does seduce women, and one of those women happens to be a horse. So, I'll let you chew on that for a while.
Tidbit on here as well with the Ibelius Chronicles, we talked about the Mark Jacobs opera. Interestingly enough, there's an entire opera based on Ibelius as well. So very interesting stuff that has spawned out of these songs. I for one would be very interested to see how they play the Gakupo part out in the stage performance, but I'm sure they do it well. So we have one last tidbit here in the iceberg, and that is a Vocaloid known as unedited. She's not very well known, and that's not to say she's not a good Vocaloid, but I think I'd rather call her a naughty Vocaloid, if that gets my point across. So she is a Vocaloid that has been released as more of a talkloid, meaning that she's more intended to be used for talking rather than singing. But she is intended for H voice acting, and if you don't know what that is, you probably don't want to look it up on a school computer when you get home, okay? So with that said, we do have Iku there, very, very quickly devouring a sushi roll. Now with that said, we have a couple more things to touch on that are outside of the iceberg. I wanted to go over some things that have spawned outside of the Vocaloid space and kind of slithered their way into more popular culture outside of vocal synths. That said, a lot of people have been able to make names for themselves through the act of what is called utaite or utaite, and that is Vocaloid cover artists. Now this spawned out of Niku Niku Doga, which is the Japanese site where most Vocaloid songs debut. Think of it as Japanese YouTube, essentially. A little more complex than that, but that's a good way to like get a general understanding. So a lot of people like Reichi and Zubiphonic have really just like kickstarted their entire like online presence through just covering Vocaloid songs, even from a very young age. A lot of the people who've done this were doing it in their bedroom when they were like 14, and now they're like able to create entire albums. Like it's really cool. Otto as well was a utaite in Japan. Otto has recently been featured in the One Piece film Red, and they've had a ton of songs that have been absolute smash hits, topping charts in Japan, and featured in a lot of games, really games lately. If you are a J-pop, J-rock person, you have probably heard their name in the past few years. They're a fantastic singer. They have a very punk, rowdy nature to them, and she's just very, very much just stick it to the man kind of energy. It's very good. VTubers also kind of piggyback off of the Vocaloid community and the fact that a lot of VTubers end up doing covers of Vocaloid songs. You see about 15,000 New King covers come out every day. But you also see a ton of less well-known songs. I've seen people cover songs from Junkie, who recently wasn't really getting a lot of attention, but then Project Sekai happened. And with that said, myself even, I've been able to cover Vocaloid songs. One of the people in the audience is actually collaborating with me at the moment to make a cover of Rolling Girl, and we've been working on it, funnily enough, since roughly last Nebkon. But you know, it's slow going, but we're getting there, and we've almost got it to the point where it is like ready to go. It's just about to be go time once we get back from this convention. So really hyped for that. If we have a moment, I can play the song that I showed last year because I still am really proud of it. But from there, I do have a moment to bring up Celestri, who I just kind of addressed in a roundabout way. She is a Vocaloid producer who is local to the Omaha area, and we're just going to have her talk about using the software as opposed to just being someone who consumes a lot of the media and music around it. So can I get a round of applause for Celestri?
Hi, I'm Celestri. Also, my name is just Taylor. I've been in the vocal synthesis scene for 12 years, which is like going back to middle school for me, so that's a while ago. I also like met my partner in the scene, so like I'm pretty in depth in that area. I'm like an indie vocal OP, so like Vocaloid producer. But that's mostly just like a side hobby, I guess, in a way. Like I'm not like a skilled musician by any means. I come at the Vocaloid community from a tech perspective, and right now I actually work professionally in vocal synthesizer development as part of like my job. Well, second job, this economy. I'm the lead developer at Eclipse Sounds, which is a English AI singing synthesizer company that works with. So right now, like Vocaloid isn't like the only singing synthesizer that like really exists. Katza touched on, well, Sammy touched on Utao earlier during the presentation. Utao is like a freeware synthesizer, but there's also other commercial synthesizers. Like Vocaloid is created by Yamaha. There's also a Japanese company that creates something called Chevio, which is like an AI singing synthesizing software that like goes back a few years. And then there's this other company, Dreamtonics, that creates Synthesizer D, which is who my company works with. They're basically like Vocaloid is a great catch-all for them. Although now that Vocaloid 6 exists, it has ended sort of a 2-year development moratorium on Vocaloid. So it's like now, like, can you call any singing synthesizer Vocaloid now that Vocaloid is back towards active development? Like, is it a Kleenex and tissue situation where it's like, oh, now I can't generically call it that because they're fighting for the copyright, so no one can call any tissue a Kleenex? Or is it a Velcro situation where it's like, Velcro used to be the brand name, but now any like hook and loop fastener can just be called Velcro because it got like generified. So that's like an interesting conversation that's been going on in the vocal community recently. Part of what I've done in the past is like, I'm a collector, I'm a hobbyist user of these synthesizers, and so a lot of the time, like I'll experiment with like new ways to use them. And what I think is really cool about like Vocaloid and vocal synth is like anyone can just like, okay, you've got like $100 from Christmas, which is like how I originally got into it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy this cool new Vocaloid that just came out, who was Micah, who is a Spanish language Vocaloid that also has a lot of extra like pronunciations in her data set that let her sing in a bunch of other different languages. And I was like, that's great. I can use her to cover my favorite Vocaloid songs in Japanese, and I can write new English songs. Now, did I write new English songs with her? No. I took a few more years to learn how to do that, and I waited. But I could have at the time, and that's something that's really cool about this space, is like anyone who like has a computer can just like, you can buy Hatsune Miku, and she can sing whatever song you could even dream of. And like even the most popular like Vocaloid producers, almost all of them started that way. Like what the most famous Vocaloid song ever is Matryoshka by like Worldwide. I guess World Is Mine is probably the most famous in America. But both of those producers are just like hobbyists who like bought Miku and they were like, well, I've been interested in desktop music for a while, so I'm gonna just like use this singer now. And then because everyone's searching out Miku songs, like it let these people rise to popularity. And like that's happened in the US and in English-speaking spaces as well with Kira, who Katza mentioned earlier, and then like other songwriters like Circus P, who recently collaborated with Set It Off on their Miku collab song, and he produced Miku's vocals because he's really well known for making Miku very understandable in English and like very expressive. And I just think it's really cool. Like to me, Vocaloid is like this thing, and I don't mean to be kind of monopolizing the time right now, but Vocaloid is like this thing that elevates any creative anywhere. So it's like you can start drawing Miku, and then like 2 years from now, like oh, like her company Krypton is now hiring me to do like the keychains for the new Miku Expo, which is having some artists. I think one of them was from Texas, like the other year, who was hired to do like the keychains for a whole event that they were having. And it's like, it's this whole community that like, you can buy in, but it's a character that anyone's allowed to use. And I just think that that's really cool, and I think that that speaks to like how Vocaloid can be for everyone, because like, yeah, maybe you don't like this like high tempo, fast J-pop, but there's also like some dude in Texas writing dad rock with this English one that you've never heard of, and like, which I guess is where my company came in. like there's any kind of thing that you could imagine. Like Uzuki, who was mentioned earlier, is like a metal producer. There's Kira is like a more mainstream, like I guess like Western, like English language pop producer, and like there's anything you could imagine. So like Vocaloid is like weirdly for everyone. Like even though the public face is like Miku, who is like obviously an icon and we all love her so much. But like even if Miku would like turn some folks away, like there's a Vocaloid out there that anyone could love, which is, or Vocaloid as a catch-all, maybe they're not technically, there's a vocal synthesizer, everyone out there that could love. So it's really amazing, and I'm just excited to have been here.
Absolutely, and we met through the vocals community through this exact panel last year. So like, you talk about like Kira, and you talk about VTubers who, you know, maybe some of you might have seen me earlier today talking about VTubers in my other panel. Like, so much of this can just like be interchangeable, and these Vocaloid can be an absolute springboard for so many people to not only just meet people, but to become the kind of person that they aim to be in the creative space. And you see Kira doing productions for Hololive members now. You see Circus doing Set It Off, and when she said recently, I mean like literally that like came out like yesterday. Not to mention like myself and Celestri meeting and me absolutely losing my mind last year when she told me she was working on Solaria. Like, I completely, I was just beyond myself, and it was so funny because the whole time that we were like trying to like finish the panel, they were just like, what about Synth V? You heard of Synth V? Hey, Synth V? And then I'm like, yeah, like Synth V, like that one thing that's coming out with like the Sun Girl, and they were like, yeah, that's literally like, I do that. So like, so much can like come out of this community. Earlier today, I got to meet some lovely people over at the photo shoot, and every year I get to see so many awesome people still so excited about something that if you would have told me in middle school that I'd be up here right now just talking to people about something as, from an outside perspective, goofy as Vocaloid, like the first thing I ever heard was Triple Baka. If the first time I ever heard Triple Baka, you would have tried to convince me that I would be talking to people about it in like 7 years as an adult, I would have said, no, you're wrong. My mom just told me that was the most annoying thing she ever heard and to turn it off. So I highly doubt it. I think I'm just weird. But the thing is, we all are weird. So thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Celestri, for talking about your experiences. It's been fantastic having you all for the past few hours, or however long y'all have been sitting here. I do want to just say that you all should probably get some good stretches in, go get some water, please. And I hope to see you all back here next year. Maybe we'll find some new stuff to talk about. So thank you again from everyone up here, and have a fantastic rest of con.
If you want to see this, we recorded this panel. If you want to see it, it should be on her Twitch or somewhere on her socials. If you want to be blurred out or anything, let me know ahead of time, and I can blur out your face in the video. Thank you very much.
It will be live streamed next week and re-uploaded to YouTube after that. So, thank you again.
Stop.